would you define love?
Love is like a special thing, right? You feel like it comes over you like a ton of waves, yo. Like, you can't explain it. You really can't explain love right now.
I don't know. I think it's like being with somebody and just like loving them, like liking them no matter what they do. Like if they make you mad, you still like them. If like they make you happy, you still like them.
When you like really like someone.
Extreme like for something?
Someone you feel really strongly about that you've known for a while and you get to know very well.
Commitment, I don't know, the boy and the girlfriend.
Love is really what you want it to be.
Love stinks.
Love is whatever you make it.
I don't know how many words to describe it. Just like you have to be able to feel it. Like you can feel it better than say it.
Passionate, like you would do anything for the other person.
You can't really describe it. It's just this feeling.
A feeling for a person that's really emotional.
Being able to say anything that you want to say to them, like that they'll be able to support you no matter what you do and be able to see why you do it.
Like passion, like caring, I think is one.
Understanding.
Amazing.
Confusing.
Caring, trustworthy, honesty.
Unexplainable.
There's different kinds of love. There's like love for like a significant other, and then there's like love for like your friends, and then there's love for like material things. So there's different kinds of love, so that's hard to say.
The Beatles sang the song, All You Need Is Love.
Mohandas Gandhi told us, where there is love, there is life.
And Carl Menninger said, love cures people, both the ones who give it and the ones who receive it.
So what is love? Is there one definition for love, or is it all of the above?
Can we control who we love and who we don't love?
Is love more than an emotion?
Can we choose to love?
Is love a choice? That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Jack.
And this is Realfaith TV. The teens we met on the street at the beginning of the show had many different definitions of love.
Many included the commonly described version of love, involving romance and passion, that feeling you can't explain.
But is that all what love is about?
I don't think so. You know, we wouldn't have very much to talk about today if it was.
That's probably true. Let's meet our spotlight guest Karen and find out how she defines love and who the people are that she loves.
Love is happiness, excitement. Love is everlasting. It's caring, sharing, kindness. You have to be with that person in good times and bad times, and that's how they know I really care for them. It's hard because not everybody feels the same way and don't think about love the same way like that we do. People that I choose to love in my life is God, my parents, my family, friends. My mom, she sacrificed for me. Like, she showed me that she loves me like a lot because last year I was a sophomore, so I love dancing, and then she drove me all the way to New York just to, do what I want to do, dance. She was driving me Thursdays and Fridays. Right after her job, we used to drive up there like for an hour and a half every Thursdays and Fridays. And then she would have to sit there, wait for me for 3 hours, and so I was done dancing. And then we would come back over here like around 12:30, we would get home, and then the next day again for Friday. She told me, she was like, you know that I want you to be someone in life just because I'm doing this for you, and you know that I love you no matter what goes on here.
Well, I know for me, love is when you don't have to worry, like I'm just speaking about, love, like just general, not really, relationship love, but just general love for me is when you don't have to worry about if the person still loves you. You don't have to kind of replay whatever goes on and say, does that person still love me? It's just something where you accept it as, this person loves me. And like, no matter what I do, there's always going to be that, that love there.
It's supposed to be a constant thing. Like, I think people get confused and like, oh, I love that person. And then 2 months later, you might not feel that sort of way. Love is always like sacrifices, I think. That's for me. Like, my parents are willing to sacrifice so much. Just like driving her to dance, they would drive me, oh my gosh. I've done so many crazy things so far away from my home, and like, I couldn't think of a more loving thing, just carting your kids around.
Yeah.
Let's meet our studio guests and find out how they define love.
They are Matt, Carly, Ijama, Ian, Jessica, and Nicole.
So how do you define love?
I define love as a strong feeling towards someone, not exactly like relationship love, but it's love that you would do almost anything for the person that you would love.
I'm gonna have to agree. Like, I think you can just be yourself. Like when you're talking with best friends and everything, like you don't have to be afraid of what they think about you. You know, someone still loves you when you go out and make a fool of yourself, and they're still your best friend after that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the person that you love. They know you inside and out, and and you know them inside and out. It's just like kind of a real good understanding of each other, and that kind of forms the love in the relationship.
Yeah, like you don't have to prove anything to the person, like to show them who you really are, to know who you are and everything.
Love is an undeniable feeling that is different for every person.
Sometimes we throw the word love around too easily.
We can love the things around us, like an iPod, a new bike, or a car.
Our favorite band or movie.
But the choice to love is a conscious and active response to someone, or even to the whole world around us.
So, who are the people we choose to love, and can we control who we love?
That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
Who are the people in your life who you choose to love?
Family, friends, and girlfriend.
I love my parents and my friends and my family and my sister.
I love my grandma. That's my favorite person in the whole world.
My grandfather passed on, and I still love him, and I always will. And it's just, love is love. You know, you can't ever forget it.
Definitely my mom and my brothers and my cousins and my boyfriend.
My family. I would have to say my family and my friends.
Family and like really close friends.
My mom, my dad, my grandfather who passed on, my ex-boyfriend, John, who maybe we'll get back together, God willing.
My brother and my cousins and my really close friends.
I try to show love to everybody. I'm just that kind of person. I love my friends, my family. I have a son, so I love my son, and I don't know, I show love for everybody because I believe everybody should be happy.
I love everybody because, like, I'm a very lovable person, and her son is my godson, and even before he was born, I loved him.
Do you think you can control who you fall in love with?
Nah, it's all right here. Right? You cannot control it.
Oh, you can control who you want to love, yeah. I think it's completely emotional.
I don't know if you can control who you want to love, but I think it's more than just emotional. It's really concrete actions for me.
So, who are the people that you guys love in your lives, and do you have to make a conscious choice to love them?
For me, it's the obvious. I love my parents, I love my family, I love God, but it's more if it's someone else besides one of those people, it's more something that grows on you, and I don't think you choose to love them because I don't believe you can force yourself to love someone. I believe that it needs to come naturally, and that's the real kind of love that at least I look for in someone.
I kind of agree, but I think that you can learn to love someone. You learn about the person, and that's kind of like how you learn to love someone. You don't naturally just love them. I mean, you have to know the person, you have to get to know the person, and that's how you would learn to love them.
I think that spending enough time with your family, love just comes to you, like the fact that you love your family. Like my sister, though we fight a lot, it just, after like not even an hour, we're hugging and saying we're sorry, and it just happens. It's the natural thing.
I love my best friends. They're so fun, and like I never had to make an effort to like have to get along with them or anything. Like I just met my friends and stuff, and we got along really fast, and we just clicked, so it was cool.
I think that a lot of people are judgmental and they don't take the time to get to know people in order to share love, and I think that God teaches us that maybe we should get to know people better.
Barbara DeAngelis said that love and kindness are never wasted.
They always make a difference. They bless the one who receives them, and they bless you, the giver.
Next, Karen tells us how she chose to continue showing kindness to a friend who had stopped talking to her.
There's this time in school, there's this girl, she kind of got like mad at me. I don't know, out of the blue, she just got mad at me. And she was mad at me like for 3 days. I don't know why. She didn't want to explain it to me. I was like, what's wrong? She didn't say nothing. She was like, no, leave me alone. I was like, all right. But then, you know, I didn't do nothing, so I kept on asking her why she's mad at me, and she wouldn't answer me. And then she told me that, oh, I heard some stuff that you did and you said about me. And I was like, well, I didn't say nothing. And I was like, well, I was trying to be like, you know, keep on being your friend, because that's not what best friends do, stop talking for no reason. I was always trying to get her back like as a friend, because if I didn't, we would lose our friendship like forever. And she was like, I'm sorry. Then we just became friends again, because she knew that I was a good friend for her.
I think that's really, really the hardest thing, to continue to love someone when it seems like you really can't. Like, I know I went through a lot, like when my parents split up, I had to get over the fact that I had problems with my dad. And I mean, there was a period of time where we didn't talk, like months I'm talking. But then I just realized how much I did need him in my life. And that's love, like being able to overcome something so huge and be willing to like put my own pride aside to deal with it.
It's definitely sacrificing. A lot of the time you have to it's a self-sacrifice, something that you need to do. Like, you need to realize that it's just not all about you. It's about others as well, and it's something you need to do for them too.
To be able to love when someone seems unlovable.
To reach out to those in need.
And to give in a way that is selfless and not expect a return is the expression of love.
Have you guys ever been challenged to act in a loving way, you know, by giving without expecting anything in return?
Or by being kind and caring for someone who wasn't particularly lovable?
I remember when I was a freshman in high school, I was with my youth group, and we went to visit the elderly and help them make their Christmas phone calls to their family. And there was a bonus at the end where we gave them food. And I just thought it was a very nice thing for us to do, and we weren't expecting anything back. It was just a nice, charitable thing to do around Christmas time.
Yeah, and I remember a time when I was sitting at a table during study hall, and this kid who people don't particularly like in my school, and they always make fun of him and just make him feel horrible all the time. I don't particularly like him myself, but when he came over there and the people that I was sitting with were just harassing him the entire time, I just said, guys, just stop, and I told him, you don't need this right now. I think he felt a little bit better about that. He knew someone was actually looking out for him rather than just making fun of him all the time.
Yeah, one time there's like this girl, she's real like cranky kinda, and like, you know, people don't want to be around her, but like I thought like I should go over and talk to her, and she let out her feelings, and it was like something bad happened to her, and after a while like she started like, you know, feeling better. All she needed was someone to talk to.
Me, my mother, and my sisters, and a few of my best friends. It's not like really a big thing to do, but around Christmas time, we go to a nursing home close by us, and these people are in this nursing home, and they stay there for Christmas. They're like, families can come and visit, but we just walk up and down the halls like to go to the different rooms, and we sing them Christmas carols, and we have someone play the piano, and I think they just really enjoy it. They sing along a lot, and they thank us at the end, and it's just nice to see that like little things like that they appreciate it, and like they know that we came to make them smile, and that like just we wanted to let them know that like other people are thinking about them, like we're thinking about them if like they're feeling lonely or something.
Well, I had experience. One year, I broke my ankle during basketball season. I was really mad about it, so I was really cranky myself, and I didn't want anyone to talk to me. So one day I was walking down the stairs, and I hated taking the elevator because it was like on the opposite side of the school. So I was taking the stairs just to be stubborn. And this guy who we dated and then broke up, so like we weren't really talking to each other, but he helped me like get down the stairs and stuff. And he was late to class, so he got a detention, even though he was helping me. So I think he really sacrificed some stuff, even though I was kind of bitter right then and didn't even bother to say thank you.
My grandmother and I, we really don't get along very well because we have like the same personality, so we argue a lot. But I think about all the things that she's given up and done for me, and she sacrificed a lot, and I remember all that, and I realize that I really do love her, and I try to do the best that I can for her.
Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, "Let us not be satisfied with just giving money."
Money is not enough. Money can be got, but they need your hearts to love them.
Singer-songwriter Michael W. Smith was sharing the same insight when he wrote, "Love isn't love till you give it away."
Next, Karen tells us how she chose to show love during a visit to a nursing home.
Well, I help out in church, in my church. I do community service there. Mostly I do it for myself because I really care for that, for people that need my help. Sometimes I clean out the church or start vacuuming and start cleaning, dusting and stuff like that. Once a year in December, I go to a meal house, a nursing home, and then we give people cookies and stuff we bake, and we just make a collection of food, and then we just give them out. We go in, they'll be like, "Oh, you're a kid. You know what? Just get out, just get out." And we'll be like, "We're not doing nothing wrong. We just come and give you some cookies, or if you want milk or something." And then she's like, "No, just get out. We don't want nothing." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "Well, here, I just leave the cookies." And then we go in there and just leave the cookies and milk on the side of the bed. And then at the end, we would close the door a little bit, and then we would peek a little bit, and then the lady will be getting the cookies and then eating it, and then we come back in the room, and then she puts it back, like she hides it, and then she's like, "What do you want?" And we'll be like, "Oh, well, we was coming to check on you and to see if you still want the cookies." She's like, oh, well, can you leave now?" I was like, "All right." And then we're turning around, and then the lady's like, "I'm sorry for acting the way I was acting, but I wasn't thinking, you know how older people are nowadays." And then we're like, "All right, it's okay. We just wanted to let you know that we love you and we care for you." We're like, "All right, thank you." I was like, "You're welcome." Then she started telling us a story about when she was younger and stuff like that. It was nice. It was a nice day. She told us to keep on coming back, and then we're like, "All right, we'll come back." She's like, "Okay." And then she's like, "But don't forget about the old people nowadays." You're like, "We won't." And then she's like, "Okay." And then we just kept on going back, like once a month at least.
Barbara DeAngelis also said, "Love's greatest gift is its ability to make everything it touches sacred."
That's what Karen and her friends Love did for the people in the nursing home.
The loving way in which they treated the residents was transforming for those they visited. It was a holy moment in which the presence of God could be experienced.
So can you guys think of any experiences that were transformed into sacred actions by the love that was shared unselfishly?
Or experiences where you or someone you knew made a sacrifice for love?
Well, my mom would always make sacrifices for me when I was little. She would always drop whatever she's doing and give me a ride somewhere, or drop whatever she's doing and help me out with something if I needed help, like with my homework or studying for a test or something like that when I was very little.
Yeah, my mom, she was going to school and working, and like every free extra cash she had, she always spent on me and my brothers and sisters and never on herself. And she was always sacrificing for us, like never doing anything for herself, but she always cared for us and everything.
Yeah, I have a friend that's like that. She, her parents own a restaurant, so they're never really home, but she's always sacrificing herself and helping all her friends out when they need her, and I try to do the same to show my love back to her.
Sometimes that sacrifice can just be like, it could be a big action for someone else, or it could just be simply just like listening to that person, listening to what they have to say and letting them know that they're there, or you're there for them.
Yeah, I had a friend who, he was like a big drinker, and he started going out with this girl, and like they really like loved each other, and like they're still together, and you know, she didn't want him to drink, so he gave that up, which was like hard for him, but he gave that up, and he's like hasn't touched a drink like for months, and it's just kind of like it shows like
what someone would do for love.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's supposed to be powerful like that.
Just recently, my grandmother passed away, and it was like right before Easter, and I was gonna have to be like missing school to go to her funeral and stuff. So I talked to my teacher because I had a test that day, the day of her funeral, And so I was pretty upset about it because I felt like I had to be strong for everybody because my mom was her oldest daughter, so she was really upset. And then I'm the oldest in my family, so I had to look out for everybody. But I was really upset about it. And my teacher, who I always thought like bullied me and didn't like me, he sent me an email. It was a really nice email telling me how sorry he was. And like I think it was a sacrifice for him because it obviously took time to write something that nice. And like it was right near the holiday, so it was just a really small thing maybe to him, but it was a lot for me.
Yeah, actually my dad, he has to commute to work, and he goes and lives in an apartment for the week and then comes back on Friday. And I feel that my mom made a sacrifice by allowing him to do that because he came home the day that he was given the promotion, and he told her about it and asked her if she would be okay with it, and she said yes because she knew that he wanted to go and pursue bigger and better things. And she sacrificed, and we, as a family, we sacrificed our time with him in order for him to pursue his needs. But he also would have declined that if we didn't want him to. And I think it was an entire family sacrifice for him, just to better the family.
Something like something that Jessica said, something little. When around the time my grandfather died, she knew that I was really upset about it. And when the funeral came, I didn't even know that she was going to come, but she just came to my grandfather's funeral, and it was something, I guess something small in her eyes, but it really meant something to me, how she just came to show me that she was like there for me, and I just thought that was like just so good of her. It really meant something to me.
In his first encyclical, God is Love, Pope Benedict XVI writes in reference to the well-known verse from the Gospel of Matthew.
As you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me.
He writes that in this verse, love of God and love of neighbor have become one.
In the least of the brethren, we find Jesus himself, and in Jesus, we find God.
The Pope also writes that being Christian is not the result of an ethical choice or a lofty idea,
but the encounter with an event, a person, which gives life a new horizon and a decisive direction.
As Catholic and Christians, our faith teaches us that we love not just those who love us.
Rather, we are to love all people as Jesus did.
To give of ourselves and our time for the love of God.
How many of us actually make that connection between love and faith?
What does faith teach us about how we love and care for others?
That's what Karen talks about next.
Let's check it out.
Well, faith teaches me how to love other people and care for them, and don't judge them by how they are from the outside, just the inside, because you know no matter what, they're nice.
So does your faith influence who you love and how you treat others?
Well, Jesus taught us the greatest commandment is to love God and love thy neighbor as yourself, and that's what I try to do as a Catholic and a Christian.
I always think of what would Jesus do if no matter whatever someone did, he would always forgive. So I would try and forgive most of the time if someone inflicted pain on me or something like that. I would try to do what Jesus would do.
I think there's a difference between feeling love and loving someone. I think as Christians we're called to loving actions towards others. And you know, maybe you don't love the person, maybe it's somebody that you really don't like, but as a Christian we're called to act lovingly towards that person, you know? And I think that's how my faith helps me love others. It helps me act lovingly, you know, even if they are someone who maybe I don't like or has wronged me or something like that, you know, my faith calls me to act in a loving manner, you know.
Yeah, like our priest would always tell us, like we're learning our faith, but instead of just like learning it, we have to go out and we have to practice it and we have to spread it to other people. So yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's like, it sounds like you're talking about love being a choice. You know, like we have to wake up in the morning and, you know, we were talking before about how marriage is work, and it's because you choose to act lovingly.
When I was with my boyfriend, he had broken up with me, and instead of going to my friends and depending on them all the time, I went to God and I talked to him about it, and it helped me to see that I could still make a choice to love him as a friend and not just as a boyfriend.
My sister did something that we didn't really agree with, that didn't go along with our faith, and And my parents were really upset about it, and I was too. But like when it all came down to it, I told my parents that, and they weren't able to see this, that instead of just being mad at her, that we need to like embrace it, and we need to kind of deal with it as a family, and we need to forgive her. And it's just like something we need to do. We need to overcome it as a family.
Yeah, there are a lot of things with family. Like I know with my younger brother, we're really alike, except for he has like an explosive temper. So like if I push him just a little bit too far, he'll blow up. And you know, we're both really stubborn, so neither of us ever apologize. Usually he ends up apologizing first because I'm older. But you know, there's one time, it was just a really stupid argument, and I decided to go ahead and apologize first because I knew that's what Jesus would do. He would always, you know, forgive and forget and stuff like that.
Pope Benedict teaches us that Jesus' death on the cross is the most radical form of love.
This truth must be contemplated.
It is there that our definition of love must begin.
Can you think of a time when you acted lovingly towards someone, even when you didn't like them at the moment?
We'd love to post your stories on our website.
Write to us at www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
Finally, remember to pray for the strength to make the choice to love.
Ask for God's help to overcome your fear of crossing those boundaries at school.
Or of stepping out into the unfamiliar environment of a soup kitchen or a nursing home.
Being a Christian is about taking risks and making active choices.
Part of choosing to love actively is allowing yourself to experience how much God loves you.
And what it means to be created in the image of our God.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.